In this PowerPoint presentation, we shall discuss Picaresque novel, a subgenre of the novel. Let us first discuss or look at the features of a Picaresque novel. Picaresque novel actually came into being in Spain with the work Lazarillo da Tormes. So we can consider Lazarillo da Tormes as the first Picaresque novel. The word picaro, which is a Spanish term, it means a rogue or rascal. A rogue means a dishonest person who does not have any moral principles in life. We can consider Picaresque novel as an early form of novel, which is usually has a first-person narrative form. Now, what kind of person is this Picaro? So, if the protagonist of a Picaresque novel is a Picaro, then let us see what kind of a person he is. The Picaro is basically cynical and immoral, someone who is dishonest, who does not believe in the principles of morality, and who feels or who believes that an individual's actions, or let's say people's actions, are always driven solely by their self-interest. So, as I said, he's a cynical person and amoral rascal who prefers to live by his wits, by his intelligence, than by his honorable work in a corrupt society. So, in a Picaresque novel, the society that is depicted is a corrupted one, and the protagonist is a cynical individual who does not abide by any moral principles in life, and he rather, prefers to have his way to fulfill his interests by using his wits, his intelligence, rather than working hard or by walking on the path of truth or by doing any honorable work. He is a kind of traveling hero, a wandering hero, let's say, who wanders about from one place to another, and he has several adventures because he encounters people from different classes, from different social classes, and he has a kind of adventurous life among people whom he meets. And these people are from different classes, from different social classes, as well as from different professions, who he encounters while he travels from one place to another. The protagonist here, the Picaro here, is very clever, but we as readers, we find him an admirable character at the same time. He's likable. Usually, the protagonist in a Picaresque novel is someone who belongs to the middle class or lower class, and he goes through several upheavals, or let's say several ups and downs in his life. So because as he has an adventurous life and he encounters people from different social classes and from different professions, it's quite natural that he would have several experiences in his life, as well as he would go through several ups and downs. So the rogue, this immoral person, does not conform to prevailing social codes. So if there are social codes which are to be followed by an individual while dwelling in that very society, then this rogue does not abide by them. He does not conform to those social codes or social laws or social behavior as such. But when it comes to serving his own interest, when it comes to fulfilling his own purpose, his self-interest, it is only then that he conforms to them, but that too outwardly, just for the purpose of his vested interest, that for the time being he conforms to those prevailing social codes. This subgenre, when we read a Picaresque novel, since we come across characters from different walks of life, we can say that Picaresque novel makes a very rich, intense observation of people from low walks of life. We not only come across, wealthy aristocrats, but we also come across people who belong to the lower class. As far as the plot structure is concerned, Picaresque's novel, it is said that Picaresque's novel has little or no plot. Rather, it is written in a very simple, loose, episodic structure. The novel is written in the form of episodes, which resembles the plot of a medieval romance, because the medieval romances were also written in the form of episodes. They had an episodic structure. So from this aspect, Picaresque's novel resembles the structure of a medieval romance. It lends more importance to action, and there is little character development. Now, if we differentiate Bildungsroman, if we differentiate between Bildungsroman and a Picaresque novel, we see that in Bildungsroman, the entire focus is on the development of the character, the transformation of the character from childhood to adulthood. But here, there is little character development. The character is only seen, wandering about from one place to another, going through several experiences. So there is little character development. But what is more important here in a Picaresque novel is the action. The action matters the most, and therefore this novel gives more importance to the action, and little attention is paid to, or little importance is given to, the development of the character. Since the action is given much importance by a Picaresque novel, so the action is narrated in a very satirical and humorous manner. There is a satire because it tries to satire, because it's a corrupted society which is depicted in the novel, of which this Picaro is a part. So it presents a satirical picture of the characters as well as the society, and that too is mixed with humor. The narrative becomes an ironic or satirical representation of the hypocrisies and corruptions of society. So, what the novelist does, the novelist simply uses his narrative structure in a very ironical and satirical way to depict or to criticize the hypocrisies and corruptions that exist in that very society. However, this Picaresque novel, declined. It lost its popularity in the mid-18th century due to the growth of the realistic novel, having a more compact and elaborated plot. Since the realistic novel started to grow, began to become popular. So what happened? This Picaresque novel declined in the mid 18th century, because it was found that the realistic novel had a much more compact, tight, elaborated plot compared to the plot structure of a Picaresque novel, which has as I said, has a loose episodic structure. Now, this subgenre portrayed characters from all walks of life. As I said, it makes a very rich observation of people belonging to different walks of life. And it was also written in a very realistic language, so that readers are able to relate to it, to the situations, giving very clear descriptions of industries and professions. So even, even the hypocrisies and corruptions associated with industries or associated with several professions and society were focused upon by this Picaresque novel in a very satirical, ironic manner. It tried to expose it. So what is the purpose? Its ironic survey of manners and morals helped enrich the realistic novel. This is a very important feature of the Picaresque novel, that it makes an ironic survey, a satirical survey of manners and morals, which later on, helped in enriching the realistic novel, because realistic novel means that it deals with the harsh reality of life. It aims at dealing with things which are realistic in nature. Certain things that we need to remember, that it was with the publication of Thomas Nash's The Unfortunate Traveller, or The Life of Jack Wilton, in 1594, that the Picaresque novel came into being. So it is with the publication of Thomas Nash's Unfortunate Traveller, or The Life of Jack Wilton, that the first Picaresque novel appeared in England. Now in England, there was also the female Picaro, that is a female rogue, a female character, a female protagonist who is immoral, who is dishonest. So in England, the female Picaro was also there, and this female Picaro was revived. We come across female Picaro characters in these novels, in Daniel Defoe's Moll Flanders. And these are the other examples of Picaresque novel: Henry Fielding's Joseph Andrews and Tom Jones, Tobias Smollett's Roderick Random, and Peregrine Pickle. So these are some of the famous examples of Picaresque novel.